Welcome everyone to Warriors for Christ podcast. We are your hosts. We got Damian Gibbs, we got Kill, we got Olin, we got my wife as part of the panel today. So welcome everyone. Hope everybody had a good weekend. So today we're going to be discussing: is it important to keep up your appearance in a relationship? Such as things for men, maybe his haircut, shaving, proper grooming, dressing a certain type of way, like all those things. And then for women, we can be discussing things such as makeup, hair, how important are these things in a relationship and if they affect the relationship. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to tackle this today, but since most of the time we always talk about women, let's start off with talking about men. Let's do it different. I don't know if
Oh,
like we're gonna do it different because people always
straighten
talking
up
about
this one.
it's always women this, women shouldn't wear fake hair, women shouldn't do this. So today let's discuss men. And I'm really interested to hear this just because I know how I am. So it'd be really good to hear you women's perspective on the importance of men keeping themselves up. All right. So who wants to dive in first? Oh, kids, hands up. Kia, what is it important that men keep themselves up in a relationship and in marriage?
I think that it is very important, and I think that it should be a priority for the man to keep themselves up, um, to keep themselves well groomed, keep a fresh cut, keep a fresh shave, you know, all of that stuff that comes in the package of keep yourself up and dress age appropriate.
Age appropriate. So I got some questions, but I'm gonna say with Tiffany. Tiffany, you have first.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of times um, the focus is put on the woman maintaining herself or her husband, but I feel like it's equal obligation. I feel like men, just like Kia said, should keep themselves up, looking nice. Like your wife wants you to be looking your best too, or your partner, whatever your situation is. Like, try your best to look good for her. Keep your hair shaped up, keep your beard trimmed. I think those things are, like Kia said, of equal importance.
Okay, so all right, now here's my question: is it that if he wasn't doing it before, that he should start to do it, or that if he was doing it when you first started dating, that he should continue it? Like, how does that work?
That's a very good question. I think that if he was doing it when we first started dating, he should continue to do it because if a guy's appearance is a woman's priority, then she would know early on that she don't want to mess with him if he was raggedy and busted and unkept in the beginning.
If we're going to go in that category, then anything that a spouse is doing while they were dating should still be continued doing once they are married, if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean the principle applies to every aspect, but here we were talking about, you know what I mean, looking fresh in the beginning and
That's
staying
fine.
fresh.
That's fine.
Don't get the woman and then get all, scruffy and
Oh,
ragamuffin.
that's fine. But then don't get the man to stop doing certain things too. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, hey.
Okay, so if the man is okay, say it this way: you said and dress it age appropriate. So what if he liked that style that he was dressing as they go on? Because you got people who get, people get stuck in the '90s, people get stuck in the 2000s. Like if you get stuck in that era, should he continue to act that way? And I'm just using for example. I had long hair for a long time, and I kept my hair for a long time. And I actually I used to love my hair. But for the longest, all people were telling me, especially a lot of ladies, you need to cut your hair. You need to cut your hair. But I was like, this is what I like. So why is it? Who? When does it become you're thinking about yourself? Like, I like it, you don't like it, but you want me to cut it because you like it, and
That's
not because it makes me happy.
I think that's apples and oranges. Okay, well, not really because I did bring up age appropriate. So to answer your first question, um, I think that if you're progressing in a relationship with a guy and when he was, whatever he was wearing was age appropriate at the time, as you begin to move forward with him and become best friends with him and build life together, I'm sure if he still wants to dress like he's in the 90s and we're now in the 2000s, that's not going to be a deal breaker. Because I feel like at that point, maturity comes into place, and it was a word that came into my mind. It just slipped right out. But I feel like the word is not coming back. I'm sorry, but I do feel like if you're building a life with someone, you should pick your battles. I feel like if this person likes dressing, in a different time period, or his clothes are out of style, then that's what he likes. If you've already started to build a relationship with this person, then oh wow, you just roll with it. If that makes sense. It depends on what you prioritize. I personally would want my man to treat me well. I would want him to be my best friend. I would want him to be a provider. I would want him to honor and cherish me. And if that means he's doing it wearing 90s fashions, and 90s fashion is not in style, oh well. You know what I mean? Like for me, that's not a deal breaker.
So I can go
Exactly.
right here.
I think that's important.
So
Do you, boo? As long as you pay the bills, you. He
I
asked
think.
if he could leave in bell bottom pants. I didn't know if you heard him.
Oh no, I
No,
didn't
I didn't
hear.
answer it. No.
I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
yeah,
you know who
whatever.
you're dealing with, though. If you're like,
Okay.
there's a couple of things I think that factor in. One, kid talked about deal breakers. So, what is important to you? What hill are you willing to die on, so to speak, when it comes to your priorities? Um, I think when you're dating somebody, they are who they are, and you should not date someone with the expectation that they'll change from who
That's
they
good.
are in that moment.
That's
I
good.
think that's important. Um, Again, I know who I'm married, so it's one of those things where I know that you're most comfortable, and I say this jokingly, but half serious, in hooping shorts. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna expect you to wear a three-piece suit because I know that's how you're most comfortable. Um, that was not a deal breaker for me. It was more so about who you are as a person. For some people, though, it might be a deal breaker, and I don't know if that's necessarily wrong either. It's just what is most important to you. I think the mistake that some people make is they get with someone and they feel like they can change them, they can refine them, and I feel like in a sense, iron does sharpen iron in a relationship, but the root of that person, you shouldn't necessarily expect that to change during the course of your marriage unless it's something that like God changes in them. You know what I mean? Like as far as the foundation of who a person is, you should expect that to stay the same. And I think where people go wrong often is that they don't go in with that perspective. And I think once they realize, oh no, this person's not changing, I think that becomes a point of contention sometimes.
And unmet expectations and disappointment.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
know what I was going to say. Superficial. I personally, and this is, I feel like what I'm about to say is unfair because we can't judge people realities. But just speaking from my realm, from the context of how I think, I feel like it will be superficial to get caught up in somebody's style of dress, right? I feel like that's a very superficial thing. But then, there are people, for example, let's talk about it. I know women who husbands proposed to them with rings that was too small for them, and they were very upset. Like they had conversations with their husband. They were like, "Well, you don't love me. If you love me, you would who cares? Like, save that money for a house. You know what I'm saying? Buy your own ring, or tell them later when y'all both have the finances to do it." So I feel like that's all in the same vein, but I also feel like people prioritize what they prioritize and they like what they like. But I feel like what Tiffany said is very important. Expectations should be understood and made known in the beginning of any relationship. We should never build thinking we can change someone.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna use myself for example. Like guys, I'm a person that really just don't care about like I'll dress for the occasion. Like if the occasion call for, I'll dress for it. But I'm very comfortable with like not shaving for a long time and just letting it nature do its thing. And I know my wife. She doesn't like it. She like it. So I jump here and there. Sometimes like okay, I'm gonna do it. And then sometimes I'm like I don't feel like doing it. Like I'm gonna use an example. I know women do a lot of things. It takes a lot for women to keep themselves up. I'm not jumping to women yet, but I'm just using an example. And I know sometimes women just be like, I don't feel like doing a certain thing right now
Mm-hmm.
because it takes a long time. And that's how I feel about shaving. Like I can't stand it. And I do it because I kind of have to. So I was gonna ask you, like, Tiffany, how did you feel like once you found out about this? Because I'm not sure if I was shaving a lot back then when we first started dating or not. Like I can't remember. So how did that make you feel? What type of stuff were you thinking?
No, you were not shaving a lot.
You were not. You saw me shaking my head, right? So, Damien, if you recall, you had cut your hair, and I feel like that was the Lord.
Yeah, I got that. I needed, and the only reason I did it because I was getting a job in the Capitol building. Like
I know,
like,
but the Lord heard my cry. That was me praying. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
I don't care. I know how I am.
The beard, though. So when I first met you, I had to peek through the beard to find the dimples because you do have dimples. Very cute. But you were not shaving a lot. You were kind of having the lumberjack situation happening a little bit. But I could still see you. It was cool. So when you do go through your phases, when you do like that again, I can't then go back and say, oh, well, he's not keeping up expectations because I know who I married. So, I mean, I feel a way and I tell you when I feel a way about it, but I also understand that you're going to do it when you feel like it. And so that's fine. To me, that's not a battle worth like, it's not a big deal to me because I know who you are and I know how you carry it. So,
Kia, what about Olin? Like, was there something that you wish he did grooming wise that he may even still do today, or something that he used to do that he didn't do? Like, I'm not trying, I'm not trying
When
to.
we first met, it was a very long time ago. I think it was 19 years ago. 18 years ago. When we first met, Olin was a little boy. Okay, I did not know that.
Wow.
So that did not. He was 17.
Speak your mind, baby. Speak your
He
mind.
was 17. I was told he was 21. But anyway, he had the time. He had the money because he didn't pay any bills. And he was very fresh. He had waves. His hair was cut every 2 weeks. He had nothing to do but keep them waves up. So that is the Olin that I met. And then as he began to evolve as a man, there will be times that he, maybe had other priorities. He may not have had the money. The upkeep just, hasn't been the same since then. But I feel like it's more so reflected the stage he was in life because I met him so young. I feel like I want to say when he turned 30, I could feel like, okay, this is the man Olin. This is who he is. And it's just so happened by coincidence, he started his locks around that time. So the locks is the real Olin. And yeah, I do feel like we see eye to eye. We don't see eye to eye on his facial upkeep. Like I want his facial hair to look like basically a pretty boy, like like always barbershop fresh. But he feels like he goes to the barber once every 3 weeks, and no matter what it look like in between, that's what it's gonna look like. And would I like things to be different? Sure, but is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. Like most of the time, I don't even pay attention to it no more. I hope that answered that question.
Oh, how do you feel about shaving?
Me, I don't do none of that like personal. So everything that has to be done has to go to the, do to the barbershop. I know some guys do stuff themselves. Stuff like I'm not that kind of person.
Oh, okay.
So now that's just basically part of my schedule. I mean, like, all right, am I busy? Am I not busy? Do I have time? Like that sort of thing. And if I'm like in work mode, like in a constant day after day work mode, it can go forever until I really realize that I need to go do something, or until she says something. But I can go like a good month and a half without.
Hey, you ain't never no month and a half.
I have before, but I never.
I don't care. Like,
but yeah, until then, I'd be like, but yeah, then I do something about it. But I'm trying to get back into doing at least once every week. But
every week.
I mean, once every 2 weeks.
Well, the last time I think I said something, he was like, he goes to, his business taking him to different women's houses. You want me all fresh to go into different women's houses, and after that, I was just like, oh, look all the scruffy you want. I don't feel like it.
Has not being groomed like kept from showing affection?
No. Not out with her parents. No.
Okay. Yeah, Tiffany never did it, but she'd be like, your beard is like hurting my face or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yours grow long, different. Olens don't grow out, so it's apples and oranges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just wondering
if go down. His don't grow down, so that wouldn't be an issue. Okay,
yeah, I was wondering if that ever came up like that, or you said something like, because I mean, you see stuff like on television. Of course, I'm just using that example, but it's like, you're not kissing me until you do something with your face, like
that's
stuff
like
that. Yeah.
I think that's control, and I think there's manipulation. And I know we're taught that we should not manipulate, withhold sex or withhold affection, or use sex or affection to manipulate our husbands. So, I do believe that happens a lot in the world, and it's dead wrong. It's just, I feel like if it's that bad, if I don't want to tear him down and hurt him, I'm gonna go pray about it, because I believe I can pray about anything. So I'm gonna go in to pray and to see and be like, Father, can you just lay it on Olen's heart to get a haircut? Like you said, Tiffany. All these years I thought you asked him to get that first haircut. I didn't know he did it on his own.
Yep.
So I just feel like we're children of God. He cares about everything.
He sure did.
Holding some poom poom or holding affection, I'll go in intercession first.
Yep, a job did it. And then I was kind of I was mad at myself for a long time, but I mean it's just one of those
things. In
the
background, I was praying before he got that job. I'm messing with yours.
I don't think it was okay. I don't think it was if I'm remembering correctly, Tiffany, it wasn't your hair being long, Damien. It was just the lack of keep up of the hair. So, like, if you had long hair and it was locked or always freshly cornrow, I think she would have looked at it differently.
Yes,
if I'm remembering.
Exactly what
it was. It wasn't the length. So, you grow your hair back.
Probably not. Too much work. Too much work. It was that one thing. Like, so you gotta get it done. You gotta find people, and they were just like, that's too much work for me. I definitely know I wouldn't do it now.
And he didn't marry a woman who knows how to cornrow either.
Yeah. I want to be like calling my mom, like, hey, can you do my hair? Going on 40, like sitting down, getting it. No. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do it now. All right, so somebody asked a question, so I guess we can move on to discuss women. I guess you guys can have an opinion and ask us questions. But someone said some men don't like women to wear Afro kinky hair; they prefer wavy. To attract the men, should women of color perm up? So should women of color perm up and do all that stuff?
Oh, she asking the wrong woman, because I love natural hair.
Yeah. I know.
Like, you don't like my natural hair? I love a big curly fro with some nice earrings and a nice eye makeup. Get out of here. Like, no. So my answer's gonna be no.
Yeah. So no, but I had some. Go ahead, Damien. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about
you can go ahead.
So I do want to talk about this a little bit. So I have worn everything in between. I've had weaves. I have had my hair natural. I have had relaxed hair. I've had everything in between. I think, Damien, when I met you, I had just did a big chop. My first.
Yeah.
But you at that point there was nothing happening, and I think when we started hanging out, I had a weave. So he's seen me in pretty much every phase, except I don't think you've ever seen me with relaxed hair. I can't remember if you have or not.
Yeah. You did years of. No, you were doing pressing your hair. You did years of pressing.
Yeah. So, he has seen me with my hair in every state, but I feel like it's important. again, I think as a man, it depends on your priorities, right? Just like we talked about from the woman's perspective with her husband, I think the same applies with the man. So, for instance, Damien prefers long hair. Currently, my hair is not long at all. But at the same time, we had a discussion about it. If I chopped it off again. And basically, he said, well, I know you spend hours on your hair. Do what's easiest for you right now. So I made a decision, but I talked to him about it. Now, some people might think that's weird, but I know what his preferences are. And, I was like, how you feel about it? I don't know if that would have, if he had said, no, don't cut it, I think we might have had to talk about it a little bit more. Like, okay, so what are we going to do to make this easier? Because I have very thick and I had very long hair, and it was taking time. And I wanted to switch things up. And he was fine, but that goes along the line with his personality. Again, it's not like he never saw me with short hair before, because that's how he met me. He met me with natural, very short hair, shorter hair than what I have right now. So I just think for men, I think as a woman, you should take into account what your husband's preferences are. And I think maybe some conversations should be had. And then make a decision from there as a couple, but also, consider, I feel like you have to consider it, because if he met you and your hair was down your back, I think that's a bit of a shock if you chop it all off just one day.
Okay. Go ahead, Kia.
No, I think I don't. Was you about to say what I'm about to say? So the comment that you referred to, can you showcase the comment? Are you able to click on it and then come up?
I have it on a different screen. Like I'm actually on my Facebook.
Okay, so the comment, it says to attract a man, should a woman of color perm up. So I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I was about to say, is there any way if you can tell me?
You know what? I missed that question. I think that's important.
How to pull it up?
Go in the banner.
Go in the banner.
Just type it up there.
So if you go to banner and you click on the comment, it's going to come up.
It's something else.
It is banner.
It is banner.
You could, but because I wanted to like.
But why? Can I go ahead? Wait.
So no, but the reason why I was saying it is because the question was, should we change our look to attract a man? So the thing is, we just spoke to what we like and how our husbands feel about it. Because I completely agree with you. The only reason my hair doesn't look like yours, because it was the only thing Olin asked me not to do, was not to cut it short. But I love my hair curly and natural. He wanted my hair done like this. And then he finally booked me an appointment and paid for it. And that's how he got what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, all right, you cared that much to book me an appointment. Let me go ahead and do it. But to attract a man, no, because I feel like do what you like, because if you change to get him, you have to stay that way and you're denying who you really are. Now, if you like long, straight hair, I don't know, maybe because I've been married for 9 years and I was dating Olin for 10 years, 8 years before that? I don't know. I don't necessarily remember men running around going, I like straight hair. One guy I was dating tried to tell me that. Like I had to have my hair this way. I said, you a clown. I'm not changing my hair for you. And other than that, you know what I mean? I didn't really come across that. But when it did happen, I felt like I'm the bomb. Like, you're bad. If you need my hair to look this way for you to think that I'm pretty, then you're not the one for me. Does that make sense? So I hope that answered her question. But I really used to carry myself like that.
Thank you for pointing out that nuance, because I think that's important. So I would also say, no, don't change yourself. Like, if your hair is kinky, I have kinky hair, and look, either you're going to take this kinky hair or you can walk away. And I think that's important, just to, like Kia said, to be true to who you are. And of course, what you want to do. Like, some women can wear the same style for a long time. I grow my hair and cut it at least every 2 to 3 years. Like, so it changes, but that is an aspect of what I like. And I also was like, I'm not gonna relax my hair. So I wouldn't start doing that for another person because I have to do what's best for me and what I like overall. And I think any person who is interested in you seriously will take you as you are or leave. And I think that's where you have to be willing to stand, even for something that's for some people as simple as hair, because that can be like, I don't think it's that simple, honestly. I think hair can be a reflection of your personality and who you are. So it's like, for in some cases, someone not accepting you because of how your hair is not accepting of an important piece of you.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was just about to say yeah. So if a woman, I mean, if you gotta change yourself to get a person to like you, like most likely, I mean, you shouldn't be dating that person anyway. So some of you got, you guys said that. I think that's a good point. And the way I say it, is like once again, it makes you happy. Like when does it become selfish for either person? Because like I said, you like your hair this type of way. I don't like it. It's like what do you do in that situation? So I know it's like it's your hair. I mean, it's your body. You do you do what make you happy. Because make you, especially how long it would take her to do your hair. You know what I mean? Like hours in the bathroom. I'm like, I know I hate shaving. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I can imagine doing your hair for like 2 or 3 hours. Like that would be too much, So, and that's what it came down to. I was like, it's up to you. Like, I mean, this is how I like it, and it's not necessarily because, I don't know. I mean, I just want like something I like. I was just like, okay, I like long hair, but I was like, it doesn't matter because it's who you are, and if you have your hair a certain type of way, you're gonna change that. For me, it's your particular style. I mean, go for it. So, I mean, I think that's like I think both Kia and Tiffany, you guys said it that if you're not being yourself if you have to do something because somebody else wants you to do it. Like she prefers it, but so sometimes to make her happy, I'll cut it. But I don't feel like it's something I have to do. It's just something that she wants to do because it's like that down to yourself thing. And then like so that may be other things like, well, you don't necessarily do this thing that I like. You don't do that, but you want me to do this thing that you like. So if you want me to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of go for terms like that. Go ahead, Kid Olin.
No, I thought Olin was gonna say what you just said. That's one of the points he makes to me a lot. I think it's a good point. It needs to be heard. I'm not trying to bully you to speak on it. Not really. But if you wanted to say it publicly, I think it'd be good because oftentimes he points that out to me. I think as women, sometimes it's like we're like, well, we want this, we want that. But then it's like, well, what about the man's needs? Do you want to elaborate?
I mean, you and Damon pretty much got it, but I did want to touch upon one part though. It's all basically boils down to communication, just like anything else. Talk to each other. What is your purpose? Because she said that I mentioned that I paid and got her to get her hair like this, but even before then, I hear what she was saying about her own hair. She didn't want to perm it. She didn't want to relax it. She wanted to keep it natural, but the upkeep of it every day was getting to her, and she was trying to figure out like, okay, what can I do? Because it's up daily. Okay, so and me, my mind was like, I like this look. This look would also fit into her standards of not much daily upkeep, something she could just set and go. It keeps her natural hair. Natural. And so that's when I proposed. Like, so even then, even though it was something I wanted, I still had it like, hey, this still fits your needs. Even though something I wanted, this still fits your needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead, KB.
No, I was gonna say that was a good point. We found the happy medium. I really prefer my hair like Tiffany's. Olin's like, no, can you keep it natural? But he wanted me to do something with it. I thought I was doing something with it with curly hair. So we found a happy medium that made him happy and made me happy. That was all.
Yeah, that was the same thing. I told her, I said, if you want to get it, get your hair done, and you want to put it in the budget, go for it because I see how long it takes to do it. Like I said, for example, here's another example of like, you do something and I do something. Being married, when you see a person out and about, you see them here and there, you just see them, especially the dating, you're not with them every single day, so, like things like, a man would expect the women to shave all the time. You know what I mean? Just like, just done all the time. Like I'm pretty sure I'm in that boat, shave all the time. But I realized being married and seeing it, how much time and effort has to go into that. So it came down to, it was like, well, if you want this, you have to do this, you know. But I feel like for women, the time is even more longer for some of the things. So even now, I'll be like, you know what? I understand, you know, get to stuff when you can, but you know, don't come at me at the same time when I don't jump
That's
on
right.
something right away. Because if you know, if it was my case, I'd be like, those legs better be shaved every single day, hour, like all the time. Get the armpits, just get it done. I don't want to see it, you know.
That's what I thought Owen was going to say. That was that's
But
exactly what its compromise was. He was like,
yeah,
"Listen, you look great with those clothes on, but I see them legs underneath."
exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, don't try to play with it with a big face. But, and you know, and that was where we felt our happy medium, because that was literally what he said to me. I ain't ashamed, you know. I'll say that. I guess he wasn't comfortable, but I don't care. That was
Yeah,
exactly what Olin said to me.
you
So I
know,
tried to be more mindful of all of that, the stuff that you know everybody can see.
that was like one of the first things I said when she came. It was like, your beard is getting too long, blah blah blah. You know, like stuff like that. Just you know, comment. The very first thing I said was like, you need to get those legs. You need to get all those stuff again. Like, get at it. And then we you know, we gotta come to some type of
I
agreement here. We
very
gotta,
nicely moonwalked out of that conversation.
Yes, yes, yes. That face, like, ooh,
yeah,
my
because you know,
like,
Yeah, I was just like, oh.
yeah, because it
when I
was
get
like,
rich, I
yeah,
plan on being, you know, I want it all every day, but it's like I'm not there, so I have to take the time to do it myself, and it's very time consuming.
yeah, that's the thing, you know, like I mean, I understand a lot of things time consuming, and that's what she was like. You know what? She was just like, when you get to your beard, you can. But like I said, what you know, but you know, then I was like, okay, it's selfish, you know, like I, you know, if I go to, you know, show out some affection, like a hair poking her in the eye and stuff. So I was like, okay, let me do that because now that's getting overboard. So now I try to keep it in such a way where it's not too too bad. Um, but you know, but men, I think gotta think about that. It's just like how much time women have to put into themselves. Like it literally, me in the morning, I can get up and I can be out the house in like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. I mean, literally brush teeth, everything done, clothes. If I need clothes iron, I can be done. And then you know, she gotta get up 2 hours in advance to prepare for the same thing. So I think men need to be considerate of that.
And my
But
2 hours, excuse me, I be praying. My 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 2 hours consists of intercession
I don't know
too.
about no 2 hours, Gibbs.
well, I'm just throwing it there. I'm just saying you wake up way in advance, and then once it come down to it, if we happen to get somewhere late or something, it's because of you know having to be the time that you needed to get all that done, plus family stuff.
So,
So
You want to talk about
oh
it?
yeah, oh
I think
yeah,
Olin was ready to leave
oh
me
yeah.
over that before. I don't care what nobody says. I feel
Who does makeup benefit?
yeah,
That's my question.
oh, that's a very good question.
Who
You
does
need
makeup
you
benefit?
need to put
Does
that
it
on the screen,
benefit the
Damien.
yeah.
husband or does it benefit
That's a screen question.
the woman?
Okay,
Oh,
let's
kids, you
talk.
want to start this conversation or?
Hold on.
Um,
Before y'all started, let the men say something about it, right? And then y'all can comment on what me and old man Olin had to say.
that's a screen question.
Now,
Yeah,
there are some men I'll say like, yes, you need makeup. I want to have makeup, da 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 da. I'm not that kind of guy. Me personally, I prefer my wife without makeup. I think she's beautiful without it. But on top of that, it takes up way too much time to be having to sit through that whole process, to be late to so many things because of this process, to be put up with the mess of it all. Like, especially like, oh my goodness, like the mess of it all, especially if it's being done in the car. I don't know if you've experienced that yourself, but if they put makeup on in the car, that is a mess. Okay. And then just sitting around waiting and it be done. Like, oh, come on, that's a lot of time. That's a whole process. I don't require it. I don't think you need it. So I prefer without it. And but yet you still do. I mean, you do it anyway. Go ahead, whatever. I'm just saying. My point is, I don't think you need it.
yeah, exactly. I say the same thing. Like it's funny. Like me and O are really different, but when it comes down to like man stuff, we are exactly the same. Like I mean, we like exactly the same stuff. Like you know, we just two different halves of the same person almost when it comes to me. Oh, Yeah, I feel exactly the same way you do. Like she doesn't do makeup in her car. It may be something like her eyes or something like that. Like that's the most she probably do in her car.
No,
But I tell her all the time. I say I don't care about makeup. Like I literally don't care. Like when you put makeup on, you're actually a different person. That's how I always see it because that's not who I wake up to see. Like that's not who I see. When we going swimming or doing family stuff, like all that makeup don't go out. So I tell her, I'm like, you don't have to put makeup on. Or then here's another issue. Sometimes when she does put the makeup on, she'll come and ask me. If she don't necessarily come and ask me, she would say something like, "You didn't say anything about my makeup, or you didn't say anything how I look," and I'll be like, "I told you, I like you natural." Like if
you know the different shade I use.
Like, yeah, like I mean, I'll be like, it's all right, but that's not what I prefer. So you want me get hype about something I don't prefer? Like, like you like it. I mean, I'm glad you enjoy it, and I'm glad you think it. It makes you beautiful and all that. You are beautiful, but if I can prefer it, go get the scrub brush.
So
go comment.
First of all, I have several things to say. When this man first met me, he enjoyed every bit of my makeup, every bit of my long hair, every bit of my every week getting my hair done and nails done experience. Don't get with me and then be like, "Oh, I like you natural."
Can I speak on that real quick?
But would you have tried to talk to me if I was natural? I'm just curious.
I'm pretty sure I would have.
No, I don't think so.
Because
I don't think I would have stood out to him.
Here's the question.
I'm showing up to your house unannounced. None of this was done.
But that was probably a sigh of relief.
That wasn't like all the way deep into our.
But what
that
I'm
was
saying
part
is,
of our first initial.
But listen to what I'm saying, because you got the best of both worlds. You like me with makeup, and then you saw without it, I was still straight. But that was probably a sigh of relief. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, whoo. All right, it's not a Septicon transform situation.
Let me put it to you like this. My disgrace for makeup is not so much that you don't have need it. It's just there's so much involved. Like dating you with makeup is the reason why I don't even like it so much. Do you remember the mess on my shirt?
So
do you remember?
Tell the whole truth. But you appreciated me when you first met me. Whenever people see me for the first time,
it wasn't because of your makeup.
You be like, "Ooh, that's my wife."
It wasn't because of your makeup.
So what he's trying to so I wear a full face of makeup. I mean, I contour everything, and I do it on the car when I'm on the way to work. Yes, it's the bad habit. So that's So it's messy. Or like if he have on a white t-shirt, it gets on his shirt. But the point that I was making is he saw me with the makeup and he liked me with the makeup, and then all of a sudden, after he saw I was straight without it, then it became don't wear it.
That also then okay, fine. If you want to go that point, then that goes to the point of what she said: to attract a man, should women wear color perm up? So basically, you're saying to attract a man, you got to wear makeup.
Okay. What I'm saying is, makeup is a form of creative expression for me. I enjoy putting colors together. I used to be a makeup artist. It's just something that I like to do. So I don't think I need it. Thank you, Jesus. But I do like to wear it. And I feel like don't come for makeup when it was good enough for you to be attracted to me. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine.
Question. Sorry, here's the question. Wow. My question is, he saw it after, but he wouldn't have never seen you without it if he didn't see you with it. So he has to start dating you to get to the point where he sees you without it. And then, like I said, does that come back down to maturing? Like you say, he doesn't care much about his clothing and spending all that money and all that type of stuff that he used to do and doing. He's growing up. He's like, now I like the you.
I also want to make a quick point because I think that you're trying to insinuate that you wearing is what attracted me to it. I think that's like a false lie because I never had a chance to see you without it. So you putting this.
I mean, you seeing your other girls. I believe you.
We're gonna take a brief break while we come back. Y'all two go ahead.
Oh my goodness, that is funny. That is funny there. I love these two. So I forgot what I forgot. I was about to say something. Yeah. So when it comes down to for me, like I say, I was always just like a natural person. But like I said, like when it comes down to it, I like natural hair too. But it's just something about having the straight hair, playing with it and stuff like that. But makeup, I think is prep. I think I don't like it. And I like it natural. But once again, it came down to one of those things where it's like, what's gonna make you happy? I don't want you, like you said, like is a form of expression. I'm not gonna be selfish enough to want to take your form of expression, but don't get upset if, like I say, you come to me about it, or I don't acknowledge it, because I'm not looking for that, So don't get a certain type of way when I don't express like, oh, you look lovely today, blah blah blah. It's like, well, I don't care for it. So do it because you like it, but don't try to get me to want to like it as well. I mean, and she does it. She has that days, and I'll still say, oh, you look really nice with it. But I also at the same time would say you look just as nice without it. But I understand that she does it when she get into a business like atmosphere, like why she does it. So I understand that point. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. When I first met you, I had a full face. I was like, I used to do the eye makeup. When I first met you, I used to do the eye makeup. I used to wear like the foundation, all of that stuff.
I know. Yep.
But you also saw me without makeup as well, because I'm one of those people, either I can go full on or nothing at all, and I don't feel a way about either. But I will say that I think early on in our relationship, you were like, it's not a big deal, the whole makeup thing. But I don't think women really do it for their man. They do it for themselves. Like, I like how I look when I have on mascara. I like how my eyes look. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like makeup is a thing that women do because it helps them. It can either be a creative outlet. It can help accentuate what's already there. I feel like most women are not doing makeup to like change what they look like, but to accentuate what they already had. So it's not like a thing. I have seen women who looked completely different without makeup before. But I think
a problem.
Yeah, and that I think that is too, kid, because someone wants to see who you really are. They don't want to see you without that makeup and be like,
That's what I was saying. It was a sigh of relief for all this thing, because it was like, oh, you still look like you. Yeah.
like
We still can go out. We still can go out.
What's that?
I say, with kids just say like, oh, you still look good. It's like, no. It's like, oh, we still can go out. I was gonna cancel and say something else. I'm not going out.
The one thing I do want to say that I don't think we've said, we did a lot of laughing and joking. Seriously, I really think Olin was when in the beginning our marriage, I believe he was going to leave me. And if you asked him what was his pet peeve, like why did you want to walk away, he would say that I was inconsiderate of his time because I made him late. Like, we're calling it makeup, right? We're saying that's the reason, but at the time, the root was you're inconsiderate of my time. So yes, I like to wear makeup, but I really, really do, for the most part now, try to wake up early when I have to do it, or work out a way that when it's on, it doesn't affect him. And we don't share the same car anymore, but during the time we were sharing the car, I was keeping the makeup away from him. I was making sure it wasn't anywhere. And I've kind of gotten away from that again, sadly. And he was driving me and said something about it. But I do think communicating with each other and being considerate with each other, is important, because we're laughing and joking now, but I think if I didn't consider his emotions, and it's not that I felt like, oh, I have to do this or he's gonna, because you know me, bye, I'm the bomb, you're bad. It's not, it was literally, I want to be able to see you. I want to see your heart. I want to consider your needs. So we did have to come to that compromise. So I wear makeup, but I totally try to make sure he's not late, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think that's an important point here. I think,
and to go with that, the ever since then, the burden of her wearing makeup really just stopped being as much. Just ever since that, so I don't even really pay attention so much no more to the fact that she's even wearing makeup, or the cost effect of her wearing makeup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it cost money. It was something else I wanted to say. Something else I want to point out. you know, Damien, we've all been friends for what, years now, right?
Mhm.
You would have left me. We would have never made it because literally, even a full face Tiffany is not, you know, wearing as much that I'm wearing. Like you're not going to get your shirt messed up. I feel like there's grace for our partners. You know what I mean? So it's like, does that make sense too? I
Yeah.
feel
That makes
like
sense.
God gives us grace for our partners. So even with, you know, you preferring a full face. No makeup. What Tiffany does is like cool for you. But like me, you probably would have like after one date never answered the phone for me no more. Like you would have completely ghosted me because of the level. And I feel like, you know, Olin has the grace for it. So I feel like we shouldn't generalize our situations. We should seek God for the mate that He's given us, because I feel like our mates have the grace that's needed for us in different
Absolutely.
situations and, you know, within our relationship. I hope that made sense.
That makes sense.
Total.
Um, I was about to say,
Totally.
here's another thing. Yeah, Olin said, like, I think time is a major factor for men, you know, and like I said, and a lot of times it comes down to if you're late is usually some makeup is usually involved, you know, like that process of, or it may not be makeup, it's the process of preparing for whatever's happening. And once again, I understand that if you got kids, you got household wives, things, stuff to do, you
In the
know,
session.
in this, you know, whatever it may be. But it always in our mind, men, we be like, but you still got up, you know, hours in advance, and, and we still late. Like I don't understand it. And here's the other question: should women expect the man, even though they like it, putting this stuff on and getting hair done and all that, should they expect their husband or spouse to be like in on it? Like, oh yeah, baby, you look good. We just like, I don't care for it, man. It's all right. You know, like would that make the should the wife have any ill feelings toward that if the husband feels that way?
I think depending on the situation. I have a cousin. They seem very happily married. They've been married. I think they just had 11th anniversary, and I know
Congrats.
he would like be like, baby, don't forget your wrap. Like, don't forget your head wrap, so your wrap can be nice and laid. But Olin would never say that, so it works for them. You know what I mean? Like he's very involved. Like he gives her compliments. He picks out her outfit. Like and that works for them. But for me and Olin, doubt it. He does give me compliments, but if I was looking for it or getting dressed fishing for it, I will be somewhere coming up short, very sad. I think that it's according to.
You just talking about makeup?
No, he was talking about compliments and like appreciating. Like, should the husband be in on the outfit or in on the aesthetic experience?
Yeah, baby,
And
you look nice today. You
yeah,
fine. Look at your
like
hair. Like she
I
should
know I
expect
look
that.
nice. Like I feel like some people, it depends on your love language, right? I feel like some people need compliments. They need words of affirmation, right? I might want you to spend time with me. You know, it depends on your love language. I know I look nice. If you think I look nice, great. But don't make me feel like I look ugly. You know what I mean? Like, you don't gotta ever tell me I look pretty, but don't you dare try to act like I look ugly or, you know, take for granted the essence of who I am. I think it's just to sum it up, I think it depends on the couple. It depends on their individual relationship and their individual energy and chemistry.
Yeah, because it's weird. Like, you know, Tiffany, she likes to wear makeup. She likes to get dressed. She likes to, you know, wear nice gowns. I mean, like, I don't know the different attire apparel is called, but
I
the
wear
different.
jeans most of the time.
No,
That's
no,
my
no,
joint.
let me get to it. Like, you know, you like to dress up, but at the very beginning, I told you I prefer you a pair of jeans and some sneakers and a t-shirt. You know, like that's how I told her. I said, yeah, that's what I want. Because she'll come to me like, hey, what about the dress? I'm like, yo, you asking me, or you think about how I look, or what I prefer to see you in? Because I don't care. We can go to a ball and I'll be like, put on some jeans and some sneakers. You know, like that's the type of person I am. But she wants that. I know she wants the I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything, but the girly feeling, like the princess feeling, getting dressed up and everything. I know she likes that. I always tell her, no, I mean jean pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Not a pair of shorts, but jeans and a t-shirt and some sneakers, just some nice Nikes. I'm good. I mean, that's you get that. I'm thinking you look good every single day.
I'm the same way, David. Like me, I got the same set of clothes. Like I got more work clothes than I got going out clothes. Like and then I can wear my work clothes any kind of day, anywhere, no matter where we're going. So a lot of times I look at my wife, I was like, oh, it's one of those days, like how she wears her clothes. Like, all right, let me go back upstairs and change.
But she dresses nice.
Try to compliment some kind of way. Because I'll just go out there some raggedy mess that I work in. I'll be like, hey, let's go out. Like, now look at her. I'm like, no, I gotta go back upstairs.
And see, I feel like maybe it's maturity, maybe because we really are best friends. I don't care. Like I remember he said something to me one time. I said, well, so when he does do something with himself, I'm like, oh, you look nice today, but it's no longer a priority. Like I feel like you work hard, you're a good father, you're a good provider, you're my best friend. If you want to wear your work shirt, fine. But it wasn't always like that. In the beginning, it would have been just another reason for me to be holding something against them. That I want to stress that I had to grow to the point of making a list of priorities, making a list of things that I appreciate, and picking and choosing my battles. Because before I would have answered your question totally different. I would have been like, I did something with myself. Why do you always look that way? I put myself together, you don't, and it just been mad. But over the years, I don't care nothing about that. And it's funny because now I'm realizing that's when he started to take the initiative to try to present himself well.
So once you stop asking, that's when he kind of started doing it.
Because I don't see his physical appearance anymore. Like I just see Olin, no matter what he has on. So when he does come all shaped up, hair nice, outfit nice, it's like an icing on the cake. But if he doesn't look like that, he's still Olin to me. Because I see his heart. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said earlier, I feel like women who think that way is they're a tad bit superficial, and I could be completely wrong because I don't want to judge anybody else's reality, but to me it's superficial. But I'm also a person that don't really care about like name brands or bags and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying the comment that I'm making is totally a biased comment.
Yeah, and like I can see stuff like with the makeup and all like. Key, I know you like say you like makeup, so you always put it on, just like Pat Judah, she always have makeup on, just hers, like she does it. I want to know how much that comes into problem with relationships. Is like once they become more intimate or the relationship grows, and the man starts to see that less, would that be a reason for him to start to look elsewhere for? Because kind of think about it, like when you start to build a relationship and you start to get married, a lot of things that you used to when you first started dating, you start to lax on some of those things, like it kind of naturally start to happen. So would that be a reason to cause a man to start looking elsewhere because she's not doing as much as she did, or she's like, oh, we're dating now, or we're married now, I don't need to put that much time into it?
If I can, I want to say something because having this discussion made me realize something. A lot of the stuff a lot of problems that we had before, a lot of like the stuff that we were just talking about, it's not a problem now. Doesn't mean that things change. It's just the way we see it. She haven't stopped putting on makeup. It's just the way I view it. I haven't stopped changing without Dre and West. It's just the way she started viewing it. So things that might be a problem now is not going to be a problem. Doesn't have to be a problem. It won't necessarily be a problem in the future. And that doesn't mean just because it's going to change or stop. It's because something inside of us changed and shifted. She didn't stop putting on makeup, but I stopped seeing it as the problem that it was. You see what I'm saying? So there's no reason as to why, no matter what you're going through, no matter what things that's going on, this is not the problem. There is something inside of us that we need to change and make the shift.
Internal. There's something you said about someone always putting on makeup, and I actually, it's funny. My mother taught me to wear makeup, and she made me feel like I had to. She asked me to start wearing it at a young age. When I first wore it, when I first got saved, I was wearing makeup, but I had to stop. God had me go through a period where I couldn't wear makeup, I think for about a year, until I liked what I saw in the mirror, because my mom had me believing that a woman should always look their best. And if you don't look your best, then you're going to lose your man. The man is going to look elsewhere. And as a believer with a renovated mind, I think that if a man looks somewhere else because of a woman's physical appearance, like something as small as makeup or wearing too much or not wearing enough, then I feel like he was never really faithful to begin with. Because that's, if you are a Christian man and you are loving your wife as Christ loves the bride, right? It is absolutely no way something like makeup should be a deal breaker and cause you to have a wandering eye. At that point, there's something in your heart that is connecting or opening the door to a spirit of adultery. Does that make sense? And I feel like when that's the case, it's nothing a woman can do to contend against that, because that's a heart issue.
Yeah. This I'm like on the fence with that. Because I actually like the idea that, you know, the way you kind of look when a person see, like, I know that change like as you get older and you mature and stuff like that. But I always feel like individuals should do their best to look the way they kind of look once the person kind of felt interest in you, you know. And then, like I said, once that starts to change, you know, because I think appearance is a big part of it. And the only reason I say that is because, you know, I do think that the Bible, we know the Bible talks about how Christians should look, you know, like, you know, how we should resemble Christ. That's a future. So somebody see you, they should see something different about you. And, you know, when Adam saw his wife, he saw her, you know, it was something in the appearance of how she looked. And I always, you know, felt that if a wife shows herself a certain type of way and that attracted a man, I mean, I'm not saying that's the only way he should keep him, but I think it should still be a big part of it. I think the same thing applies to the man. When, you know, when you see him, he should somewhat appear the same way he did when y'all first met. Like, if that's what you like.
Let me go first. I got a question for you, Damon. So things are, but okay. So we're talking about the man preference for the woman. So what if my preference
both?
Okay, but okay, what I'm asking as far as us towards women, what if our preference changed? Because my wife is absolutely correct. When I first met her, I liked the makeup, I liked the hair and everything like that. After a while, my preference changed though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I desired that anymore. So she then changed herself so she can constantly fit my desires?
No, absolutely not. And that's what I do, like what I did with Tiffany. Like, she had her hair a certain type of way. I may like it, but once again, it comes down to, if that's what you like, I'm not going to want to put my will on you to make you unhappy, and then that causes contention in a relationship. But if I want that, you know, and and my will doesn't change, and I continue to say, hey, you know, this is what I like when we first met, blah blah blah. You know, you can say that, but I also think, like I say, it's dialogue that go place. But I do think appearance, the way you look, is a really, really big part of the relationship. So I don't think she has to change, but at the same time, I don't think the man, because like it's like Adonis yourself too. She may change too. So some things the man is going to have to suck back. Okay.
So to be 100% clear, I agree with everything you just said. Like, if we go back to the adultery, a man look another place. I don't care if your wife, if you married her and she look like Vanna White and she now looks like Della Reese. If you are looking some other place, you have a heart issue, and there is no excuse for a man to be in adultery. Do you understand? Like, I feel like it's nothing a woman can do that will justify.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's the woman though. I'm not saying that it can be an avenue that he can be then tempted, because now he's looking for a certain type of way. So the enemy's like, oh, I know he's looking for that. I'm gonna bring somebody his way that's gonna tempt him on that. And it may not necessarily he's looking. It can be this a particular person that's working on him for 2-3 years to get him to fall, because it's now an avenue to his weakness.
That avenue has been open before she was even involved.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I agree 100% of everything you're saying, but whenever what I feel like happens in the Black church particularly, and just with Black women particularly, older women have to stop selling the narrative that it's something that the woman does that opens the door for a man to wander or to cheat. That's what I'm saying. I'm definitely not. I think that a woman should keep her appearances, and she should communicate with her spouse, and she should present present herself in a way that makes both of them happy out of honor. But when we talk about looking the other way, the enemy can use anything to feed into to get a man to look. But I feel like Olin says something else has to be there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're my best friend, it's going to take a lot for me. For instance, if Olin makes me mad today, I could be like, oh, this is not going to work. My next step is not going to be to get another man, because that adultery is not something that I struggle with. That's not on my radar, right? You didn't understand what I'm saying? The enemy might use something else to tell me. I might want to cuss him out or bust him upside his head, because anger is something that is on my radar, or is, something that will probably tempt me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I used adultery as like the extreme to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, and the reason I said it, because it opened the doors up. Like, big example, we know appearance was a big part of it, because it says they were both naked and they were not ashamed. And then at the end, it says they were naked and then they were ashamed. So something happened where the appearance changed in them, and they became ashamed. He was ashamed of how he looked towards her, and she was ashamed how she looked towards him. But it all came because she was misdirected, and that misdirection of her led him to get misdirected, who was Adam. So I say, I'm not saying it's always going to be adultery or something like that. I'm saying it can open up avenues for something else. It can open up avenues of arguments in the relationship, or distrust. I was just using that as a thing, because that's what men usually say. I'm definitely not saying it's the women, and I think also applied to the man. The man should look the same way. If the man was nice and fit, and all of a sudden he gets completely out of shape and out of something, you know what I mean? And he just doesn't care about the way he looks anymore, and there's nothing related.
No, because you had this one going too.
Oh, sorry. I can wait.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, we had technical difficulties. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, no, I was about to say, I think it's the same thing applies to the man. If he was just nice and fit, like I said, when me and Tiffany started dating, I was in decent shape, and I try to keep that up. But it's tough now because of the lifestyle, but I still try to do it, because it can be something as simple as like you watching a movie and it's a guy in a movie who just like, Thor type body, just guy. It doesn't necessarily means that she's gonna go out and start looking for that, but it can be something like simple as like, oh man, he's fine, and it can be a simple thought that can change her dynamics, and that dynamic can change the relationship. So in my best interest, I try my best to continue to look this certain way, that I keep my body in the same shape as when we first met, because there's no telling how sin can then manifest differently in the relationship. And I would just say, I think adultery is just the extreme, but it can't open doors for different stuff, is all I was trying to get to. It's definitely not the woman's fault. But if there's a way, just like a man, if I don't do something that can lead her to go wrong, I should watch what I do so I don't open the door for her. Not saying that I'm the one to blame, because she's responsible for her own actions, and vice versa. I hope that's clear what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean it. No, it was very clear. As soon as you use I'm a scripture person. As soon as you painted the picture of Genesis 3, I understood exactly what you were saying, especially about the parents. So it was literally the fact that they could see that they were naked that shifted their perspective, and literally was the catalyst to a whole paradigm shift of humanity and our relationship with the Father. So as soon as you use Genesis 3, I understood what you were saying from the beginning, but even from the perspective that I was concerned about, it made perfect sense as soon as you made that one statement.
Yeah, we definitely should.
I also think, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just want to interject for just a second. I think it's important too that you have conversations too. These are not easy conversations to have sometimes either, especially when you're talking about one of the parents, right? But I think have a conversation in your marriage, like, hey, because truth be told, like, women know if they put on weight, if they look different. I look different than what I looked like when I first met my husband. He looks different than what he looked like when we first met as well. have conversations. I think it's really important that you have like, hey, so, what's good? We good? How you feel? I think these are conversations that you need to have and have honest and open dialogue.
And it may hurt.
One thing that you said that really stood out to me, Kia, is that the fact that Olin is your best friend, your mate should be your best friend. So you can have a conversation, and I'm not talking about being rude or nasty about anything because this is your friend, so you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you also want to be honest about what's going on because, if it's a thing where, you're out of shape or something like that, maybe you can do something together to help each other get back to where you want to be. Just I think it's really important that dialogue is taking place. That's all I wanted to interject. I agree with everything else.
I agree with you saying that, Damien. In my mind, I was hearing it as in if she don't hold up, then he is free and willing to. And I know that's not what you were saying. So I want to just come back with what Tiffany was saying, that it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, and it's a conversation that needs to be had frequently. Because like I said, people change, things change, and everything like that. But in which case, let's use weight. If the weight is gone to a point where the husband is not happy, is there a conversation be had? Is the wife not happy? Is the weight because of something that's been going on in the marriage, all in all? Then also, okay, if both is unhappy, both want to go back, okay, then it's not just the woman's responsibility. Then it becomes the man's responsibility as well. All right, babe, what's what we're gonna do? We're gonna start doing this together. We're gonna start. These things should be taking place. So the fact is, because we're not gonna put in this is both of us basically. It's not just you. It's not just me. You are my responsibility, so to speak. So if something's bothering you, it's bothering me, and we're gonna work through this together.
Yeah, and like I said, you said you guys absolutely correct. And like I said, I say a lot of things and it comes off like matter of factly. So I like when people ask questions, so they give me a chance to try to clarify what I'm saying. So I'm glad you guys like questioned what I was saying because it gave me the opportunity to hopefully explain it better. But yeah, I think a dialogue is important. I think that's what went wrong with Adam and Eve. They didn't have that dialogue with one another about a certain thing, because we know, like I said, Christ said, you guys are healed on top of you're light on top of hill. It's all about appearance. You don't take a candle and put it under the table. People want to see the candle. So yeah, I think his appearance is really important. I think it's really important for the man when he senses something to open the dialogue up. And then when that dialogue happened, both individuals got to be willing to die to themselves in that particular moment to, like I said, like I kind of doubt myself in a sense that like, oh, I understand that she doesn't want to deal with her hair, so she cuts it. I can be selfish and be like, no, you got to do that, but I know that will cause contention in the marriage. So I got to doubt myself and be like, that's not a big thing. I'm just deal with it. It's just one of those things. Just as she may not like that I play video games for a certain amount of hours, but she knows I enjoy it, so she allows it. Or I'll put time somewhere else to make it happen. So yeah, so I think it comes down to just like simply talking. And I do believe it's the man, because it was the man he should have dealt with when that stuff was happening to Eve. He should have dealt with it as being the man. He should have done that. It's never the woman's problem. The woman's problem, nothing happened when Eve ate of the fruit. It was when he ate of the fruit. So it's the man, if he doesn't direct it, he holds the responsibility in the relationship and in the marriage. That's the way I see it. I was just using an example that if something is not addressed, as you said, Olin, it can lead to other things. And the extreme is abuse, adultery, all the crazy stuff that we hear in relationships. That's the extreme. But we, as the man, I don't want to open a door for her to be tempted. And as the wife, I don't think she should open a door to be tempted. And if you're not if you don't like what the other one is doing, that's when the dialogue is happening. And once again, you come to some type of treaty or agreement, such as Olin, y'all came and y'all worked it out, even though y'all still have your preferences, but it works out because y'all dying to one itself so that the other can be happy.
And we also need to make note of mental abuse too, because I think we always like to think about adultery and physical abuse, but mental and emotional abuse is still very prevalent. It's still just as dangerous as anything else.
Yep. Yep. It's another avenue for that. And someone said Jay-Z has one of the loveliest women alive today, but there's still a Becky.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I don't know nothing about Jay-Z. I'm always the optimist that always think the person is doing the better until I actually get facts that something is a certain type of way. I tell Tiffany all the time, and I think it really annoys her that it could be the rudest and the worst person in the world. But I'll be like, if I didn't see it, I would not say that on that person. I'm not gonna speak anything into that life. So,
He-
so
He
if
cheated. He cheated.
I mean, he's not saved. I feel like he's unregenerated, and I feel like that's another reason why we should not be unequally yoked, because what she said is absolutely true, and he's still looking because it's in his heart to look. So it's not, it's almost he's not satisfied.
yeah,
You
yeah, like you
understand what I'm saying? But I feel like, to me, he's an example of not saying a Christian man can't do it, but he doesn't profess Christianity. He's a worldly man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's not garnered by the same standards that we as
Yeah,
Christian men
because
are.
I feel like everything that shapes my philosophy is Christ centered. What I have to say outside of Christ would be garbage, because I wouldn't be able to uphold anything I just told you, because I need Christ and the Word of God to be able to sustain me and allow me to be able to allow these principles to shape my belief system, if that makes sense.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely makes sense. I would just say to a person, once again, I think it comes down to dialogue. If you think your spouse is going a certain type of way, then that's like I say, that's where you have the dialogue between the two. Like I say, like as O said, somebody being overweight is just a symptom of something else entirely. It's not necessarily that she's just eating to be just to get big, that she's becoming lazy. She can literally be stressed based on what you're doing and how you're helping to run the house. So I think that has to be addressed too. But you definitely should talk about appearance and stuff. Like when Tiffany first started dating, I told her exactly what I was like, what I was interested in. But being that we open, we talked. I mean, it was never a big issue, like because we talked about it. And I think that's what relationships go wrong, is just talking, because she's not going to be perfect. The only way that she can be perfect if I can do some type of animation and create her myself. But I didn't create her. She's not my creation.
Amen.
She's just someone God thought that would be beneficial to my life.
Amen.
And then I have to see that, because if you think about it, God created Eve perfectly for her, but somehow Eve still did something that messed Adam up. But Adam should have been wise enough to deal with the situation, But she was perfectly designed for Adam, right? But yet she helped lead into the fall. But she was not the reason. The reason was because Adam didn't do right. So we can sit back and say, oh, it's the woman's fault. It's the woman's fault. No, God created her perfect. God knew exactly what she was supposed to do, But if Adam would have did his part as being the man of the household, that would have caused everything would have went entirely different. So in the household, I'm not saying that women can't do certain things, because there are women who murder their husbands and all that type of stuff, but it still can go back to, was he still somehow involved in honing her to be a wife? Because you got to think about it. Eve was a helpmate. So Adam had to train Eve how she can help him. She didn't do the garden work. He had to teach. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had to teach her how to maintain it, because he was already doing it before she came. So the man has to kind of be, not training, but once again, I would say the training today would be open dialogue. Y'all talking about what each other like, and that's what's shaping that. The words are helping to shape the relationship, if that makes sense. Go ahead, Tiff.
Also, the important thing too is that Eve came directly out of Adam. So one could say too that there was something in Eve that had not been addressed in Adam too. So I think that goes back to also the responsibility for that dialogue, having conversations as well, because I feel like with our spouses, I think it can definitely be a case of that relationship being used to get certain things out of us. Um, and growing together as we become one, that friction that's important, I think, to also um, form us into the people that God wants us to be at the end of the day. But I think in that there's certain things that you could only address in yourself in the context of a relationship, because you may not ever know it's there if you just remain, single too. So I think that's also important to think about as well, because I can tell you there's certain things that I've encountered in marriage that I probably would have never, that I know I didn't encounter as a single person, because I didn't have to. It was just me and Jesus. Maybe those things would have, maybe been addressed at some point, but there's something about the context of a relationship that pushes you to have to address certain things in yourself.
Yeah, and like I said, this is one thing I'm glad you brought up the point that she came out of him. And one thing I teach is that she's literally the female, the wife is literally the strongest part of a man. Because you got to think about it, she was created from rib. Bones are the strongest part in the human body. It's the structure. It gives structure and strength to the body. So literally, the women are the strength and structure of a man, right? If you want to look at it from an anatomy type of place, what they are made from. But once again, it comes down to words. When she was put in the garden, God didn't tell her to eat from the tree. Adam had to tell her not to eat from a tree. Did he give her the right words? Because she was the one that misquoted. So did Adam tell her the wrong thing? Did he get it mixed up? So once again, there's that dialogue that need to be open when it comes to relationships. So yeah, so woman is made from the best part of man, the strongest part of man, and I think people need to realize that in a relationship. But once again, it comes down to the man and his words. What is he saying to her as his wife? How is he building her up with his words to help him in the garden? And like I said, and when it comes down to looks, it's very important that once again you talk about that. Just because you disagree with something doesn't mean that relationship is over. Y'all just come to agreement, because there's bound to be things as the man that the wife is not going to like, and there's that compromise that takes place. Like I said, and if it's like I said, it's the whole thing of there's Becky on the side. We have to wonder why is Becky on the side, and vice versa, male and female. And if that dialogue doesn't happen, like that causes more problems to arise. All right, guys, this was a great conversation. Like we went an hour and a half. Are there any final questions that you guys may have? You got anybody have any questions or any statements? If you do, please post them. We're looking at this live, so we can try to answer them or add something to your suggestion. We would like to hear what you have to say regarding this, or if you have topics that you want us to discuss later on, you can also post those below. Any final things, guys? Like this was really good. I actually didn't expect it to go this long. This was good.
No, I really enjoyed this. I wish we can have more conversations like this, invite more people in. Very, very rich discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we both said it. We was just like, oh yeah, let's invite Janae and Skia, to it. But once again, I just completely forgot all about it. It slipped my mind. It was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, there are definitely more people. I think the more people you have, the better conversation you can, that comes about from it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if there's no final say, we appreciate you guys joining in. A lot of you guys stayed on board with us for the entire time. Like I said, appearance is a good thing. Appearance is a big part of marriage, as you can see from each of us. And just because one, you don't necessarily your spouse or your partner is not necessarily doing the same thing, that doesn't mean the relationship can work out. Y'all got to talk, because we both going to have something that the other one don't like, and it all comes to working out, having that dialogue. I mean, like if you're not having a dialogue in your marriage, the marriage is not going to last. Like that's the main thing. If there's no dialogue, it's not going to last. I mean, opening up, talking to each other about dislikes, even if it comes to, feelings being hurt, but not necessarily you're purposely doing it. It's just because you're speaking truth, and we know truth hurts. So, any final sayings, any guys? Tiffany, Kia. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you hopefully next Sunday at 6:00. We don't know what the topic is going to be. So if you do have a topic or you may want to come on or talk to us, send us a text on the chat saying that you want to talk to us about something. This is open to a lot of dialogue. Like we wanted to bring about the better appearance of Christ in each and one of us, in each and every last one of us. That's the whole point of this, is just to be open to discuss things that people don't discuss about. I know Key always bring up, like in the Black church, we always say that it's the women's problem in marriages, it's the women's problem in churches, and that's true. But people need to talk about it. We need to discuss that. It's not the women's problem; it's actually the man's problem that he's not addressing the issue. That comes down to is the man. It's the man. It's the man. Christ addresses our issues. He's a man's man. He addresses our problem, and he doesn't let stuff go. So he's our example, and that's what we should live by. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your holiday. Tomorrow. Be safe out there. We love y'all, and may y'all be blessed.